Hi class, I'm Miss Maxwell and welcome to my biology class. Today our unit is going to be on environmental science. We have one student with us today. His name is Christopher. Hi Christopher. So what we're going to be doing is our Do Now Jamboard, and we're going to be answering 3 different questions. And that's going to sort of get us in the mindset of in class, and hopefully we're going to learn and expand our knowledge on climate change. So let's get started. So we're going to learn what is climate change and why is it happening. So there are 3 questions I'm going to be asking this Jamboard. It's going to be what is the difference between the greenhouse effect, climate change, and global warming? What proof do we have that climate change is happening, and why is it happening? So let's go to our Jamboard. And Christopher has already written down the 3 different answers. So Christopher, do you mind reading your answer for the first question?
Sure. So what is the difference between the greenhouse effect, climate change, and global warming? The greenhouse effect is, I believe, the trapping of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Climate change is the changes in weather patterns over long periods of time. Global warming is part of climate change, and that is the increase in the Earth's temperature over those time periods.
Good answers. Very good. Do you want to read the next one too? Ideally, we'd have another participant reading this one, but we only have Christopher today, so he's going to be reading it for us.
So what proof do we have that climate change is happening? We have data that shows the changes in the weather patterns over the periods of time. And then for the third one, why is it happening? Partially emissions into the atmosphere, such as the carbon dioxide that we release, getting trapped underneath the ozone layer or destroying the ozone layer with other emissions. This leading then to climate change and global warming and other changes in weather patterns.
Yes, so Christopher knows a lot about climate change. Great job, Christopher.
Thank you.
We're going to go back to our presentation. Oops, sorry. So the Earth is surrounded by a layer of gases that we call greenhouse gases. And that's what makes up our atmosphere. So we can pretend that my head is the Earth, and there's a shell that is the atmosphere. So can you all go like this? Great job. So this is our atmosphere. So the head is the Earth, and this is the atmosphere, and there's a shell of air that's around there and different gases that make up our atmosphere. So what happens is CO2 and other gases in the atmosphere trap heat, keeping the Earth warm. So normal amounts of carbon dioxide are very good for the Earth and keep us warm and keep our the temperate mild. So it's very nice to have that for the plants and for animals, and that way the weather doesn't get severe. So with this atmosphere and this medium atmosphere, some sunlight that goes through here sometimes gets trapped by the gases and is reflected a whole bunch of times. So let's go back, and my head is the Earth again, and my arms are the atmosphere. So again, the heat is getting trapped in here and keeps getting reflected and is warming the Earth. So there are different thicknesses of atmosphere in our solar system. So Mars has a very thin atmosphere and almost no carbon dioxide, so very little. And the temperature is around -50 degrees Celsius. Now, water freezes at 0 degrees Celsius, so you can imagine that's very cold. Earth, on the other hand, has a medium atmosphere, again, a medium atmosphere, and has an average temperature of about 15 degrees Celsius. So that's around 60 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's a nice warm day, is about the average temperature of Earth. Of course, we have polar regions on different sides of the Earth that are very cold, but the average temperature, do we know what average means? Christopher, do you know what average means?
Yes, I do.
Can you tell the class what it is?
So if you take all of the temperatures and add them up and then divide by the number of temperatures that you have, that would be the average temperature.
Yep, that's exactly right. So you're taking up all the different temperatures we have, the cold temperatures and the hot desert temperatures, and we're averaging them together to get 60 degrees. 60 degrees Fahrenheit. And then there's Venus, which has a very thick shell, so it's very thick. And its temperature is 420 degrees Celsius, and water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. So that is really hot and pretty much too hot for life as we know it. So global warming is the increase of the Earth's temperature, and it's the average surface temperature is increasing. Climate change, however, looks at the climate as a whole and is the changes in weather. We have severe weather, as you've been hearing. There are hurricanes and severe flooding. Right now, there's bad flooding down in Tennessee from these changes in weather patterns. And also out in California, we have severe drought and fires. So again, global warming isn't just necessarily, climate change isn't just necessarily just global warming, which is like the increased temperatures, which is a common misconception that, oh, it's not hot right now or it's cold in the winter, so we're fine. However, it's also the change in weather patterns that are going on. So let's go to the next slide. So again, climate is the average weather conditions over time, and global warming refers to an increase in the Earth's average temperature. So sometimes we might have like really extreme weather and it's really cold. However, an average of all of our temperatures during the year, our temperature is going up. So what proof do we have? So there's data collected of the average increase of carbon dioxide. Christopher, do you know what produces carbon dioxide?
Burning of fuels.
Exactly. So burning of fuel such as coals or gasoline that burn in factories or in cars are increasing the amount of CO2 in the atmosphere. So these rising CO2s are making our shell thicker and are having the sunlight reflect a bunch of times and increasing the warmth of the Earth. And now this warmth is actually causing different winds to change and different weather patterns to become more severe. So the data shows that climate change and global warming are a very real issue. Sorry, having a little trouble with my computer here. There we go. Now, other data that we have that shows is that indeed glaciers are melting. So there's physical proof that you can see with your own eyes, not just with calculations. So this shows a glacier in Alaska in 1914, and now that glacier is pretty much gone in 2004, and I can't imagine what it looks like these days. So the sea level rises because as glaciers, so these are glaciers are melting, the waters are rising because as we know, as ice melts, the water then increases in volume and there's more of it everywhere. So why is climate change happening? So what is going on? So we have historic carbon dioxide emissions going on right now from factories and fossil fuels that are being burned and released. There's also burning of trees for fuel, like wood fuels, and cutting down of trees, which usually regulate our atmosphere temperatures. Excuse me for a second, this just popped up. So there's pollution from coal, natural gas, and oil. So you can see various different depictions of that. And then here are some credits for the sites that I got in case you have questions about how I got this information. Now, Christopher, do you have any questions for me?
No, I don't. That was very clear. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, class, for joining me. All right. Have a wonderful day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.